President Biden signs the PACT Act for veterans exposed to toxic substances. In political news, in June 2022, President Biden signed the PACT Act. The full name of the bill is Sergeant First Class Heath Robinson, honoring our promise to address Comprehensive Toxics Act, known as the PACT Act. This bill addresses health care and benefits for U.S. military veterans and their survivors. It was sponsored to Congress by Democrat House Representative Mark Takano of California in June 2021. It passed with bipartisan support in the House of Representatives, with 222 Democrats voting yes and 34 Republicans voting yes. 174 Republicans in the House voted no on the bill. When President Biden gave his first State of the Union address in 2021, he asked Congress to come together to create a detailed bill that would address the health challenges veterans who were exposed to toxic chemicals face daily. These health challenges from toxic exposure not only affect the veterans but their families and caregivers as well. The PACT Act does just that. Highlights of the PACT Act: guarantees that veterans who were exposed to toxic chemicals receive quality healthcare services and screenings. The PACT Act has lengthened the time window for 9/11 combat veterans for enrollment from 5 to 10 years after discharge. For veterans who fell out of that time frame, they now have a 1-year open enrollment period. By lengthening these time periods, more veterans can, quote, enroll in VA healthcare without having to demonstrate a service-connected disability, end quote. Arranges new VA regulations and processes for assessing and evaluating exposure to toxic chemicals during active military service for many chronic conditions. Eliminates the requirement for specific veterans and their family to show proof that the illness or injury was caused by toxic exposure during active military service if the veteran is diagnosed with one of 23 specific conditions. By having this in place, it reduces the paperwork load and exams for the veterans diagnosed with one of the 23 specific conditions and allows them to receive health care and disability compensation faster. For these specific conditions, the families of veterans who passed from these conditions may receive benefits. Mandates the VA must create new studies that look at veterans' health trends of those who served in Southwest Asia during the Gulf War and post-9/11 veterans' health trends to have a clearer understanding of toxic chemical exposure. Secures screening for toxic exposure and that VA personnel are equipped with the right education and training for caring for veterans who were exposed to toxic substances. Additionally, the PACT Act mandates VA health enrollees get screened on a regular basis for toxic exposure-related problems. The VA is also required to reach out to veterans to inform them of support for toxic exposure and the benefits they may be entitled to. Supplies the VA with resources to improve VA healthcare facilities by approving 31 major health clinics in 19 states. The PACT Act will also provide resources to the VA that will help streamline claims processing and grow the workforce. I just want to quickly mention, if you're still watching this video, thank you. Also, if you like the information so far, feel free to hit the like button. It will help us out greatly because it tells YouTube that you find our video informative. And with this being an important election year where so much is at stake, liking this video helps send it out to the YouTube world where other potential voters could see. Now back to the video. Before the PACT Act was passed and signed in 2022, the Biden-Harris administration had already begun working with Veterans Affairs, or the VA for short, to address veterans' exposures to toxic particles and substances. The Biden-Harris administration worked with the VA to put in place presumption of rare respiratory cancers. This has allowed the VA to process and finish more claims for veterans and survivors that involve, quote, presumption of rare respiratory cancer. The Biden-Harris administration worked with the VA to handle claims for new presumptive respiratory conditions. The VA initiated handling disability claims for asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of being exposed to inhalable and respirable particles. As of August 2021, the VA has been able to process and complete 33,276 claims, allowing over 25,000 veterans, including their families' benefits, for one or several conditions, generating backdated benefit payments of $93 million. The Biden-Harris administration worked with the VA to bring more attention to VA benefits for military exposure. A lot of veterans may be unaware of the benefits, services, and support they may be able to receive if they were exposed to toxic substances while on active duty. In November 2021, outreach initiatives were created by the VA to let veterans know what's available to them and to consider filing claims for potential military environmental exposures. The Biden-Harris administration worked with the VA to provide mandatory training for VA and non-VA providers. The VA will have training and education on environmental exposures for VA-directed compensation and pension providers and Veterans Health Administration clinicians. The Biden-Harris administration worked with the VA to create a network of specialized providers and call centers. There will be providers who specialize in handling military exposures, and these providers will include physicians, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and other health professionals who are part of the Veterans Exposure Team Health Outcomes of Military Exposures, or VET Home for short. The VA also plans to have a fully functioning call center by January 2023 to assist veterans with military environmental exposure inquiries and claims. According to VA.org, the VA has distributed over $1.85 billion in benefits to veterans and survivors because of the PACT Act. VA Secretary Dennis McDonough said, quote, "Thanks to President Biden, millions of veterans who fought for our country are now getting health care and compensation for the conditions that followed them home from war. We're proud that so many veterans and survivors have already benefited from the PACT Act, but this is just the beginning. We won't rest until every veteran and every survivor gets the VA health care and benefits they deserve." End quote. With President Biden signing this PACT Act, and the Biden-Harris administration taking action before the bill was signed, veterans who were exposed to toxic chemicals while on duty are receiving the care and support they need from the VA and supporting organizations. This concludes our video. If you have managed to watch it until the end, we thank you. If this video has been helpful to you, liking and sharing this video and subscribing to our channel would mean a lot to us. What that does for us is it gives us an indication that we are building an audience and that we are creating helpful content for our viewers.